Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday to you. It is that time again, another edition of Did You Know? And as you can see, we're in a little different environment. We have a special guest here. Before I introduce our special guest, so I'm going to do my introduction. I'm Jessica N.W. Scott. I'm the owner and CEO of Journeys to Change Counseling Services, LLC. And I am here to hopefully improve your life or the life of someone you know. If you are interested in an appointment, I do have available appointment slots. So you can contact the office at 678-884-6844. And so for our special guest, our topic today is professional organizing and mental health. And you might think, why professional organizing and mental health? Well, we're going to get into this. So our special guest today is Darra McClendon. She is the owner and operator of Simply Ordered Solutions. Welcome, Darra.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So we're just going to jump right into these questions. So tell us about yourself, your background, your education, your family.
Okay. So I am not a native to Middle Georgia. I was raised in the Metro Atlanta area, came to Middle Georgia to go to college, went to Mercer University, graduated with a degree in business, and Mercer is where I met my husband. We got married shortly after college, and we've been in the Houston County area ever since, gone married on 12 years. And we have two small children, an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I just love what I do. I started my company actually because my focus in school was nonprofit management, and I struggled to find a nonprofit that needed help at the time. And so I did various positions that were grant paid, contract, but then grants end and contracts finish. And so I found myself needing work. And so I just went back to the gifts, God-given gifts that I've had all along. And that's what landed me up in organizing.
Nice, very nice. So can you tell us what exactly is professional organizing?
Yes. So people have a picture of organizing in their minds, especially now with a lot of the shows that have come out on streaming like Netflix and things like that. But in the simplest of terms, like organizing, professional organizing is just optimizing your space and the functionality and making sure that you've decluttered so that you can be efficient and you can be productive in any environment. A lot of people don't realize that professional organizing as an industry started back in the 80s in Los Angeles. And so it's not new by any means. And there are lots of people now, though, that have grown organizing companies and teams and various resources online to kind of help us get organized. But when you actually have that expert to come in and walk you through the process, that is professional organizing.
Nice. Okay. I didn't realize that it was so far back in the 80s. That's
Yeah.
actually to know. Okay. Okay. So you told us a little bit about how you started your business, why you started it. Is there anything additional in how you got going? Like one day you're like, okay, let me use my gifts. How,
Yeah.
what's your first step? Like, what did you do?
Well, it was really important to me, especially after we had our first child, my daughter, to just to have the time freedom and flexibility that I wanted to really be there for her. I stayed with home with her the first couple of years. And so those were kind of like literally the baby stages of my business as well, just really doing some research, trying to find out, how many organizers were in this area and what kind of need people had. The need actually came to me because people were already calling me for my opinion, for suggestions, for help with things. And so sometimes people don't realize the gifts that you have and the things that you might be meant to do, you're already doing them. People know you for that already. And so that's really kind of what moved me to that leap of faith to say, okay, well, let's make this official. Let's not just have it as a hobby or a help to friends, but let's actually formalize it, make it a business. And so from there, I started networking and just introducing myself to people, going to local meetups where small business owners, entrepreneurs were. And then I found that within that community, there were a lot of people that needed my help. And so I some of my first clients came out of just an entrepreneurial group. So I was able to really be hands-on with helping them get organized and streamlined in their business. And then that carried over to their home, and then word of mouth referrals. And so then it just kind of kept going.
Nice, very nice. That's awesome. So what we heard, because I am a therapist, active listening, we heard that networking is important. So if you're a little shy, come on, y'all, push yourself, get out there, talk to people, meet people, because you never know how your gifts will be used. And so that's awesome. Thank you, Darra. Okay, so what are the benefits of organization? Like physically, and of course, mentally, because we're talking about mental stuff. So
Yeah, there are so many benefits, but really, honestly, my company is both a professional organizing and a wellness firm because I saw early on that connection and correlation with health and wellness and order and organization. So my goal and mission is to help people to see the connection. So I thank you for that question, because clutter and stress, it's like a vicious cycle. So if you've got clutter and it's overwhelming you and it's making you anxious, and there are proven studies to show like the effects of clutter on our mental well-being, increase in depression, increase in anxiety, and then the extreme end are some of the situations where people are hoarding and they actually need that psychological help to kind of break down what's happening with all the stuff, because it's clutter physically externally, but it's really clutter internally, things that we've not resolved, things that we've not dealt with. And so when you've got the stress and the overwhelm, it keeps you from being productive. It makes you stressed. It's hard to focus. And so then that creates more clutter. So a lot of times a cluttered mind makes a cluttered space. And so then, okay, if I'm just all over the place here, that's what my environment looks like. And so then that again creates more stress, and then that stress creates more clutter, and then the clutter more stress, and so it just keeps going and going and going. And so I love that in this industry I get to, yes, help people clean up their spaces and make them nice and aesthetically pleasing, but it's so much more than that, because we feel good about ourselves when our stuff is together. Like who wants to walk out of the house with their hair all over the place, their clothes disheveled, and not brush their teeth? Like, no, you want to go out, even if it's not like to someplace fancy or to business or anything like that. You want to at least go out looking like you didn't just roll out of bed. And that's because that matters. Having our stuff together matters to us on different levels for different people, but it does matter to some degree. And I think that's healthy.
nice. Okay. So you all basically, what I heard, I don't know if you heard this, that to get out of the cycle, you can call someone like Darra to help you out. You may have the awareness, like, listen, my stuff is all over the place. I don't know how to get out of this. I'm stuck. There is a person you can call that can literally help you get out of that cycle. Awareness is important. That's a part of our mental health. So if you're aware, don't be afraid to ask for help. And we have professionals like Darra who can come in and help you. So thank you for the explanation. Okay, so you talked about some of the barriers. What are some causes that can have people in this vicious cycle that's stuck and they just can't get out of it?
So the biggest barrier is time. People, their time is spread so thin. And we these days are doing so much. I mean, we are multitasking to the 100th power, and it is not helping us. We've got our hands in everything. You've got, most families have got two cars, and they've got one parent if it's a two-person home, or one person with one group of kids or child doing one thing, and then you've got someone else somewhere else, and it's just, we've got so much to do. We're so busy. We've got a lot of these conveniences too, right? That interrupt our focus time, notifications and pings and all these different things that are there supposedly to help us and to make life easier. But sometimes it's really just distracting, and it's keeping us from maximizing that time and being really as efficient as we can be with our time. And so that's the biggest thing that I hear from a lot of my clients. Like they know what to do. They could do it themselves, but they don't have the time to do it. And when you really look at it, because little things add up over time and they go unresolved for so long, how many times do people say, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get to it. Oh, yeah, this weekend. And then something else comes up, you know? So there are lots of things that come and take priority over even organizing or streamlining things in our homes or our businesses or our lives. And so time management is also something that I offer to my clients. I do productivity consulting because I realized early on, like a lot of us, when we look at our daily schedules, we're just trying to do too much. We're just trying to do too much. And so that is the number one barrier and cause of people actually getting the help they need and getting out of that cycle.
Awesome. So what I heard from that is becoming more intentional with our time, because that's a big thing for time management, intentionality, and prioritizing. And of course, you just mentioned that you offer extra services. It's not just organizing of itself. And so this is really helpful because people might think, oh, well, I'm just have somebody come in and clean up my stuff. That's not what it is. It's a help deeper. It's on a deeper level. We have to be intentional with our time. We have to prioritize what we're doing. And guess what? Sometimes that means we may have to pay somebody else who is an expert in the field to help us because we cannot do it. So that's awesome to know. So if you are one of those people, because I'm sure we are all aware of some things that we need some help in, this is probably a big one for a lot of us. So how can someone recognize that they need help from you? We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but are there any other indicators that they might need to say, hey, Darra, I need your help?
I would say, like you mentioned a little bit about being aware, that self-awareness. If you're always afraid to have someone come to your home, if you're always mindful or self-conscious about someone getting in your car, if you find yourself saying, I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm tired all the time, those are indicators that you might need some help. And so, like, even with that time management, like doing a time audit with me, like it helps to really see what you're doing. And sometimes that's all people need. And then from there, they can actually make the time to organize or make the time to get enough rest or make the time to get exercise or to prep their food so they can eat better and they don't have to do DoorDash or Uber Eats, you know? So it all goes back to how you're spending your time, and just look at like the things you're saying, look at how you're feeling. You know, if you're find yourself snapping at the people that you live with all the time, okay, you might be tired, you might be internally frustrated about some things. So just being self-aware. And I think what you provide in your services is a great help for people to do just that.
Right. Very good. Okay. So if this person is self-aware and they're like, you know what, this is it. Darra is a person that I was looking for that I didn't know I needed. How can they get started with your services?
It's actually free to get started. And I want to say that because a lot of people now also think, oh, I can't afford professional organizing. That's a luxury. But no, it is really a need. And it's not necessarily a need that you will need forever. It's once you get the tools, it's a lot like therapy. Like starting out, you might need to go every week or every couple of weeks, but as you get the tools and you make the behavior changes, you don't need those same tools as much. So simplyorderedsolutions.com is my website. And from there, and of course, on all my social media at Simply Ordered So, you can book a free help me call. I call it that because that's exactly what it is. SOS is the internationally known distress signal code. So Simply Ordered Solutions is here to respond to that distress call. So you need help, you book a free 15-minute help me call with me or an organizer on my team, and we will talk and walk you through what our whole process looks like, what you can expect. We'll answer your questions, and you can tell us a little bit about what your needs and your frustrations are, even if you can't really articulate it the best. It doesn't matter. This isn't a consultation. It's really like a discovery call, if you will. So we can explore and see if we might be a good fit for each other. And from there, we can schedule the consultation. We have a minimal consultation fee, really just for accountability. And then from there, we will look more in depth into a actual project plan to cover everything that we talked about between your help me call and your consultation.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so what I heard you all that this is very obtainable. Do not
Mhm.
talk yourself out of help. She said to talk to her, it's free. Help me, SOS. Go to her website. It's totally free, no tricks, no gimmicks. Literally, she's there to listen to you. She's got 15 minutes. She's the expert, so she can hear what you need probably within those 15 minutes to be able to start that process of the consultation. So if this is the time you've been dragging your feet and you know you need to do something different, please make sure to take the first step.
Yeah.
That's all it takes is the first step. It's an easy step. Is no obligation with the 15 minutes. 15 minutes is not a long period of time. You literally can waste 15 minutes scrolling on social media. So 15 minutes, you can do something productive with your life. Give Darra a call, go to her website. Okay, awesome. So once someone gives you a call and you get everything done and everything's all organized, and they've started therapy and they're just getting their life together, what are
Yeah.
simple tips that you can give the people to help them stay organized once they receive your services?
So it depends on the project and what we worked on and where we worked on things. But what I always like to tell people when we come and we've created what I call a system of order for you, you cannot be afraid to do two things. One is communicate to everybody using this system. So, I mean, I'm talking on a basic level. So, if we put it in, if you were struggling, every time you come in your house, there are shoes all over the place. Just from the garage, it's the drop off place for everybody. There are shoes all right there. Okay. So, when we come and we set up a system that says, here is a nice, cute, modern, chic shoe rack, all the shoes are going to go on here. You take them off, you put them on the rack. We've got to communicate that. We can't just set up the pretty stuff. We've got to communicate that and apply that. And then we might need to tweak it. That's number two. Once we communicate and we've handled that, we might need to modify the system. Because let's say, okay, this isn't working. Like I'm in the house now. I just want to take them off and go. So then maybe we need to move the shoe rack outside of the house, right at the garage door. So then when you come inside, you're just ready to go. You're home. You're ready to relax. So just depending on the person, the family dynamic, there are things that we may implement that we've got to try it out for a little while. And that's what's going to help you keep that order. Because if we just set up a system and you just leave it, but you don't communicate to everybody, everyone's not on board, and then you don't make any changes and tweak it as needed, it's not going to help you. It's like having an umbrella in your trunk and it's raining outside. It's not going to help you unless you actually open the trunk, go to the trunk, take the umbrella out.
Awesome. I really love visual examples. So that's fantastic. Because it just brings things to real life. So thank you for that. So she customizes it to you and your needs. So there's not a cookie cutter thing. She's not gonna come in here and try to change and overtake your life. It's going to fit your life. That is very important for mental well-being because she's not coming there to drive you crazy. She's coming there to help you. So you want to make sure that when she does come in and organize and all that stuff, that you make sure it's something that works for you and your family. And just know you got to give it a little bit of time sometimes to tweak some things, to change some things. Ideas are great until implementation. So she's there to help you. She's not going to just do it and be like, all right, bye. She's not going to drop you off. She's going to help you until you get it correct. Now, she's not going to come clean up for you because it has to be your system, but she will be there to assist you. So that's awesome. Okay, so those are all the questions I have, but I want to just know, are there any new things on the horizon for your business? I did see out there in social media land that you have a podcast. So tell us about your podcast.
My podcast is called Order at Heart. And so it's on all the major mainstream podcast platforms. I enjoy it because it allows me to kind of get into your world for the day, So my listeners, you can tune in when you're in your car, when you're in the kitchen cooking, when you just need a pick me up. I like short episodes because who has time to do much more than 20, 30 minutes at a time? I try to give you enough like to make it from one side of town to the next. So if you're running some errands, that's a great time to turn on Order at Heart and listen. And so I like to inspire people. I like to give them tips. I like to continuously make that health and wellness and that order and organization connection so that it stays the top of mind for people, because really, truly, we all have order at heart, like from the smallest age. I mean, I taught pre-K once upon a time, and then they moved me to a 1-year-old room. And I remember in both classrooms, it didn't matter the age difference. When we said it was time to clean up, from the smallest, they knew exactly where to put what, because there was order in the classrooms. There's order in most daycares. And so if we learned these skills when we were little, then as we get older, why is it so hard for us to put stuff back where it belongs? Why is it so hard for us to clean up before we leave and go to another space? It's because of those distractions again, and just all the different things that we're juggling at one time, multitasking, right? So I love that we all have that order at heart, and so that's what I speak to and try to get us back to in the podcast.
Nice, very nice. So you all check that out. So all social media platforms for your podcast?
Yep.
Awesome. So if you would just once again give us your social media information handles so how people can find you.
Yes, www.simplyordered, don't forget the ED, simplyorderedsolutions.com. And so on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, we are Simply Ordered So, short for solutions, Simply Ordered So on all social media.
Very nice. Thank you so much for joining us for this special episode. And let's not forget, this is super special because it's Women's History Month. So this is great. We're up here making history and making things move and shake. So please remember, for your mental well-being, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, it may be a reflection, the clutter may be a reflection of those things on the outside. So reach out to Darra, get some help, and make your life better. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.